Hello, good evening. My name is Desmond Joyce Natu. Long time no see. I teach politics and how government works, and today's video is it's more Nigerian, so to say, because I'm not discussing a broad political theory or terminology. I'm discussing restructuring, which is a word that you find a lot in the Nigerian political space. So if you're a Nigerian youth or you are, just a student of politics and you want to get conversant with, the political happenings in other countries, so to say, stick around. And we're going to be discussing what the demands for restructuring are, why people are calling for this restructuring, and how best to restructure the country. So let's get right into it. More often than not, when people are talking about restructuring, they are referring to any of these six demands. I wrote it down, which is they're either talking about devolution of power, fiscal federalism, creation of additional states, state policing, local government autonomy, or the return to regional government. So, what is devolution of power? There are those that are of the opinion that there is too much power concentrated in the central government, which is, Nigeria practices a presidential system of government. So, there are those that say there's too much power in the center. And since there's so much power concentrated in the center, the advocates for devolution of power have argued that power should be devalued from the center, and there should be more power in the subnational regions of government. So that's what devolution of power is all about. I mean, it's more broad, but in a nutshell. And then fiscal federalism. Fiscal federalism in Nigeria is all about resource control. Nigeria is actually our highest mineral resource in Nigeria is oil, and this oil comes from a particular region in the country, which is the Niger Delta region. And every other state in the country is highly dependent on the oil. So, those that are calling for true fiscal federalism in Nigeria are just saying let every state control the resource in their states, that it will create more competition and a more diverse economy. We've discussed devolution of power, we've discussed fiscal federalism, and the third, demand for restructuring is the creation of additional states. The advocates for the creation of additional states, they argue that there are some states that are too big to be, governed by just one administrator. So their own advocacy is around, for government to be able to reach everybody, there should be creation of additional states so that government will be closer to the people. The fourth demand for restructuring is state policing. State policing simply states that every state in Nigeria should be in charge of, their own security, their own policing, just the police. In Nigeria, we have a federal policing system whereby, the police is controlled by the federal government, which also drives us back to the devolution of power of those that are advocating that there is too much power in the center. And the merit for the argument for state policing is that it will help with intelligence gathering. Nigeria have been suffering a lot from insecurity, and Nigeria is also a very diverse country. We have several languages, several ethnicities in Nigeria. So if the personnel for the police are more local, let's say in a state like Kano, for instance, if you put an Igbo man in Kano who does not understand the Hausa language, who does not speak the Hausa language, who is not familiar with the place, and ask them to police that state, it will be impossible because they do not know anywhere, or they do not know the ins and outs of the state, and they cannot speak the language. So it will be better to get people from Kano to police Kano, people that know every nook and cranny of the state and understand the language and know the people. That intelligence gathering will be better that way if police is more localized. So that's what state policing is all about. And then the fourth argument is the local government autonomy. The local government is supposed to be the third tier in the Nigerian government system. You have the federal, you have the states, and then you have the local governments. But the local governments in Nigeria have been, for lack of a better word, hijacked by the state government. So they do not have any autonomy. The state literally dictates to them what to do, allocates resource to them, and the chairpersons of those local governments, the women and the men and women that administer those local governments, they are just as if they are the appointees of the governors, and the governors can actually afford to fire them anytime, and get other people and put there as caretaker chairpersons and conduct elections whenever they feel like. So those that are advocating for local government autonomy are simply saying let the local government truly function as an independent tier of government the way it was intended to be. So the sixth and the last demand for restructuring I'll be treating here will be the return to regional government. In the past, Nigeria practiced a regional system of government where we had 6 regions. If you're Nigerian, you know we have the northeast, we have the northwest, the north central, we have the south-south, we have the southwest, we have the southeast. So people say Nigeria was ruled better when we were operating the regional system of government. So those that call for the return of the regional, system of government are saying Nigeria can be administered by a weak center, and then there'll be 6 tiers or whatever conclusion the national agreement is, that each region each region in the state should govern itself, even though there'll be a federating, or should I say, even though there'll be a center, the center should be weak, so to say. The regions should, collect their taxes, develop themselves. And I think that's it, basically. So we've looked at the 6th demand for restructuring. We are going to look at why people are making those demands. The 6 demands, don't forget, devolution of power, state policing, fiscal federalism, creation of additional states, local government autonomy, and which other one? Return to regional government. So why are people demanding for restructuring? The number one, major reason is actually poverty. Nigeria is one of the poorest countries in the world, even though we are blessed with a lot of mineral resources. So the overdependence on oil, which is a major resource in Nigeria, have made us to forget about other natural resources in Nigeria that can be harnessed for development. So why poverty, is ravaging those states? The resources are wasting, not wasting, but they are not being utilized for development. The second reason why people are demanding for restructuring is actually because of insecurity, which takes us back to the demand for state policing. There's so much insecurity in Nigeria, and people say because there is no state policing and there is no good intelligence gathering, that is one of the reasons why there is so much insecurity in Nigeria. The third reason why people are demanding for restructuring is because of nepotism. Like, I think the current administration, which is the Buhari administration, have really thrown it into everybody's face that they don't care whose ox is God. And remember, I said that Nigeria is a very diverse state, and the state means country. And the appointments, especially during this administration of Muhammadu Buhari, seem to be more from the north. Other states feel like they do not have national representation, or they are not represented at the federal government. So instead of them, having a semblance of, or instead of them being in a country where they do not contribute to its leadership, it is better to return to regional government so that every region can self-administer. Fifth reason why people are demanding for restructuring, I think we've discussed nepotism, we've discussed poverty, insecurity, we've discussed political domination, and the fifth reason is actually, it's not a reason, it's just a campaign strategy, or should I say a political talking point. People always bring up restructuring whenever they feel like they're not getting their way in the polity, or should I say it's also a form of opposition to the current government in power. So we cannot rule out the fact that some people that talk about restructuring are actually using it as a political talking point. So that's it. And how best to restructure? I don't think I know. That's why we have not restructured. I don't think anybody really knows how we can restructure. That's why we have not restructured. That's why there's been so much debates and so much, rancor. However, some political scholars and activists and advocates in Nigeria have recommended that constitutional amendments is actually the best way to restructure. And every National Assembly in Nigeria have been have attempted, amending the constitution. Some have resorted into catastrophic failures, or some have just been an avenue for misappropriating of funds. But that's why we are where we are. That's why we've not restructured, because it's just turned into a back and forth, flog jump, up and down. And some have even advocated for a military takeover. That's how hopeless it seemed to be getting. But that's restructuring in a nutshell. The demands, why the demands, and how best to restructure. So thank you, and until next time, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like and comment and make suggestions and ask questions. Bye.